All right, the next thing we're going to do is let's create a new layer out of this group here. Let's name this group dark background. Okay, we'll go ahead and close this. This one we're going to call a blue glow. So hit B for brush, and let's pick a color out of here. Nice bright blue, a little dark but bright. So pretty saturated. Can't really find the one I want. Want a little darker, more like, there we go, something like this one. All right, let's try that. Make it a big brush, very soft, totally soft, okay? Something like this. Put the brush at 100%, or actually, I was going to change the layer. So the layer I was going to do in screen mode and 30%. Okay, something like this. Let's go ahead and try that and just brush once. Nope. Do it bigger and brush, brush. That's pretty good. Not quite as blue as I'd like it. I'm going to undo both of those. So that's Command Alt Z twice. And I'm going to just turn this up a little bit, make this a little bluer, a little more saturated. Let's try that. There we go. That's what I want. I want it a nice blue tint right around here. Okay, something like that. Just once is good enough. Twice. Twice is nice too. Okay, so that's good. And then next thing we're going to do is let's go to the Finder and open up the glass mug. So just double click on that. Let's go back to the Move tool here. All right, and we're going to now outline this. And using the Quick Mask mode, which is pretty simple. I've shown this in the earlier lesson, but let's do it again. So go to 200% is fine. And then hit B for brush, right click, and do 45, 85. Like I mentioned in earlier lessons, this is my go-to. It's a nice solid brush. And then Q to get in Quick Mask mode. Make sure your opacity is 100%. And D for default, so you're making sure that it's black in the front. So it looks like this. Pink, so this red color is really for the Quick Mask, the default Quick Mask color. All right, so now, by the way, if instead of, when you go to Quick Mask, if it's all filled red and you're painting white, double click here, and instead of masked areas, which is like this, so when you go to Quick Mask, it has masked areas, go to selected areas. Basically what that means is whatever I brush becomes selected, whereas if it's the other way around, it's everything is selected except where I'm brushing. So I like brushing my selected areas. So just click, whoops, go back to Quick Mask, click and shift click all around as we've done in previous lessons. So, oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Let's actually undo this. Deselect. One thing when you're outlining something that's pretty hard to see like this, it's very useful to just create a levels and then just lighten everything. Just exaggerate it completely. It doesn't matter how much artifacting you see. And then now go to Quick Mask and start over. That way, when things get very dark, you can still see. We'll turn off that layer, the adjustment layer, later on. This is just for the outline, because sometimes the outline becomes a little bit invisible when it's black on black. So I'm going to accelerate this part because it's just the same thing, shift clicking all around, and there we go. All right, now zoom out and let's go to the channels. Let's hide the RGB and go to the Magic Wand tool, select the inside, and then hit select, modify, expand. You can do 20 pixels, and then Alt Delete fills with foreground color, Command D deselects. Pretty easy. Let's get out of Quick Mask mode and go back to the layers here. Can delete this levels because we're done with it, and then just hit the apply mask, and voila. So let's zoom this out a little bit, and let's just drop it in here. Here we go. Okay, so now we have our mug. Let's place it a little better. I think it actually needs to be a little bit bigger. So let's convert this to a smart object. Whoops. Convert to smart object and call this mug. All right, Command T to transform. It's slightly off, so let's just rotate that a little bit. And I actually want this a little bit bigger, something like, well, not quite this big, but let's see. I'd like some space for reflection, not too big. something like this. Yeah, and replace it a little bit behind the leaf. Okay, hit return, and that's pretty good. All right, I feel like the top part of the glass should be darker, so let's actually Command G to group. I'm making a group here. Let's call this the mug, and I'm going to create a curves, and just here, let's open this up a bit. Let's just darken the midtones, but I just wanted to apply the mug, and I don't even want it to apply the whole mug. I'm really looking at this top part. I'm going to mask it out in a second, but for now, just darken it like so. That's pretty good. And then in here, I'm going to fill. So Alt Delete always fills with foreground color. Okay. So in this case, in the mask, my foreground color was black, meaning it hides everything. So that's very useful, and I use that all the time. So here, I'm going to hit a white color to basically, and do a little softer brush here. I'm going to reveal the curves that I just did, which was, let's call this darken glass. Okay. Go to the mask here and just brush on the top. All right. Feels like I'm cleaning the glass a little bit. There we go. That's pretty cool. All right. I like that. And you've noticed that I did a clipping group, and that means that it's only going to apply to this layer, which is nice. That way I don't have to be worried about the edges of the glass, because it's already doing that by applying it just to this layer. I can go back in here and say, well, maybe a little darker now that I can see a little better. So that's pretty good. And I like that. Okay, good. So once we've done that, I actually want, in here there's like some dark ale. I actually want a sort of a bluish liquid. So there's many ways to do this, and I thought it'd be fun to do a gradient map. We haven't done that in a while. So create a new adjustment layer and do gradient map. Okay. Now I have by default selected this one here, but it's you can pick any of these, and it'll basically apply a gradient map to whatever's below. I'm going to use a gradient map that comes with Photoshop. All right. So for the gradients, I'm going to pick. I'd like to have something that has the blues like this, maybe a little bit more in here, a little greener, something like this is pretty, not like that. I kind of like this one. It's going to need a little work though. So let's just hit OK for now. And once again, create a clipping, and I just want it on the water. So once again, fill with black. All right, so let's make sure our foreground is black. Fill it black, that way it's hiding everything. And now with a white brush, I'm going to go over, and let's make sure this is soft. I'm just going to go over the brown liquid, the brown areas, and I'm making it white. So that's basically unmasking. All right, I have to adjust the colors a little bit, but for now let's keep it like this. All right, let's go back to this gradient map. I feel like my darks don't have enough gradients. I'm going to move that over a little bit. Ooh, a little too much. I want to get a nice little gradient in there. I don't want it too dark. So we could also just go in here and go to brightness, just lighten it a tiny bit, like so. There we go. We're starting to get a nice little gradient in there, and that's pretty bright. All right, let's hit OK on that, and let's call this gradient map is fine. I need a little bit down here. I'm going to actually make a copy of this, so like so. And once again, let's fill it with black, so filling the mask, and then with a white brush, but this time with a very low opacity, something like 30%. Let's go and put a little bit down here. Oh, it's too much. I need really something lower, something like 10% maybe. All right, there we go. There's a little bit of brown and the reflections there, and I wanted that out. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here at the top. There's some in there at the top, on the lip there. All right. I don't want too much. There's a little too much here. I'm going to have to go back to black and mask out some of this top bit right here. I just wanted it at the very edge. And let's see, before, after. Yeah, it's giving it a little bit of tint, which is nice. Okay, so there we go. We have that brown color is pretty transformed. Maybe a little bit over here. Whoops. Let's put the opposite. Oop, that's too much. Let's do it very lightly. Right here, there we go. Okay, so we have our color, and we can then go ahead and in our next step, we're going to add some glow and put the girl in the glass.